Well, today's topic, 21st century school improvement plans, and how these plans can get a facelift and upgrade and enhancement with Google Apps for EDU. I'm glad many of you are joining with us live today. And also everyone, hi, I'm recording, who's watching this after the fact. We're super excited you're with us today. Our day is pretty straightforward. I'm going to talk about how you can give voice to your variety of groups, your input, your stakeholder groups. You're going to talk collaboration, how you can make this a process that is ground up, down, over, and side to side, and then collection of data. We're going to hit all of these three big topics. So if we jump into that, you know, if at any point you have questions, you can go ahead and throw them in the chat, and I'll either address them on the spot or as we roll through. And if you have any right now, you can throw them in there. If you don't, and this agenda is good for you, can you get an emoticon in the chat? Any type of emoticon works. I'll even take frowny faces if you're feeling that way. This is my digital version of a head nod. You know, are you ready to roll? Are you good with this? Because if you're, give me on and I know we can move on and there's no more questions. Love yours. I love when you get creative, and also know that digitally an exclamation point in our Appy Hour vernacular, I mean, it's no LOL, but it tells me you're excited about something, and the more of you put them in there, the more excited you are. So if at any point something goes well to you, you can type wow. That's always a good one, but you also give me some exclamation points. They're a fast way to show how you feel. You have something, and I phrase this as what do most people think is the trickiest, because it may not be tricky for you. You may have some really good strategies for it. But by and large, those of you guys who are intimately involved with school improvement plans, what would be the trickiest part of them? Go ahead and type your answer in the chat right now. So just think about that for a second. You might even consider pausing this recording and just pinpoint your tricky parts. So me saying stay focused, not trying to do too much. So true. Including all the stakeholders, absolutely. Others. During the year, are we making progress? Finished summer meetings where you're ready and you're pumped, you're focused, you have everything together. As business of school gets in the way of the business of school, and it can eat up time. And we're going to hopefully show you tricks that allow particularly that data collection, allow that include all of your stakeholders. And it's a great point about focus. I'm going to throw one more, a bonus trick in about focus. We'll get towards the end as well. So first, with that concept of voice, that's our first one. What are the stakeholders that you want to make sure that you keep involved in the, don't give me some names in the chat, just throw them in to that right now. What are some of the stakeholders that you include in the process? Just give me a list. Parents, students, you want to make sure to pull and have voice on these different groups. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my screen for a quick second. It's going to switch up for you. Yeah. I'm going to do to a document. It's just a quick second. Like, okay, it shifts over, and don't worry, that's supposed to happen. And we're all going to go to This is an example of a linkage chart that I was, playing around in a bit with. And shared right now that anyone in MCPS can view it. I'm actually going to change it so that everyone can edit it. Now, one of my favorite things when it comes to voice is it's really difficult to have 30 people in a room, each share their point of view on any different topic or given topic. It takes forever. One of the nice things about digital platforms like this, like I can ask you to share your thoughts, and everybody can get a chance to put their thoughts in writing for everybody else to see within a couple minutes. So it would take an hour or two to have everyone share verbally. It allows you to communicate in a different way to collect more feedback. And feedback that's collected within, even if you started off with it being blank or you made it all disappear, excuse me as I do, you can get back to everything that was said and done. So my first kind of suggestion, my first idea here, I get in and delete these pieces. I want to get rid of it. I want to clean this up for a second. Is you can ask everybody to give feedback within a face-to-face meeting. Doesn't have to be virtual, although you can do that as well. Sorry, I'm cleaning that up. In the document. So in the chat. What one of the questions that you were interested in gathering feedback for in this summer's SIP process? What's a question that you were pondering, you were thinking about that helped inform your process? So one of the questions you were asking yourself that maybe you wanted to collect feedback from parents, maybe you asked it to the team, maybe you walked around and wrote down your thoughts on big pieces of paper and different colored markers. What's one of the questions you asked yourself? Go ahead and put that in the chat. So we all have lots of questions we asked, and your school might have had lots of different questions. How can we ensure identification of students as GTs for special programs is equitable? A great question you want to think about. How to monitor post-secondary outcomes? Oh, fantastic. So you have questions, and to ask them face-to-face, even walk around to put them on paper, takes a lot of time. But you can use, to start this process off, a digital walkthrough to collect feedback. I'm going to link in the chat. Many of you have joined me, and you can see, as you're with me, that you can come in and add all of us together and add our answers. My meetings often start this way. We come together with some kind of an activator question, and we all write our thoughts. I'm going to everybody right now some of the really smart questions. I'm going to say, what did you do this summer? This is not a good SIP question, but I'm going to invite everyone who joined me, there's 4 of us here, to go ahead and write once about what you did this summer. Those of you guys who are watching and haven't come, you can click on this little link and you can edit the document, share it so that anyone in the world can, so even if you're having trouble with your Google account, you can click on this link and look at this document and go ahead and write what you did this summer. I'm going to note. Of course, imagine how this is a really efficient way to collect feedback. It's also a good one where you can ask people who can't make it to the meeting to put their feedback ahead of time, so they can already either email it to you and you paste it in the case of a parent if they're more comfortable with that, or if you ask them to write ahead of time in the document, you can collect all of their feedback. It's also a respectful way to give people some time and to think. Some people are super fast. They're going to write fast and they know what they mean. And others, leave it a bit. Their better thinking is done over, a cup of coffee. They want last time. So collecting all this feedback in one document is really useful. Now, one of the next things you can do is have your teams and your groups focus on ranking these different categories. And a nice one if you come together and you say, like, which of these is the best vacation? You can group the people who put in all of their own thoughts and then have them come together and cut, paste, move them in words. You can have them identify those that matter the most by turning different colors. Other groups come in, you can use the comment feature. You can highlight I went to the here. You can comment, and people can put a comment that this one's really important, or as you're thinking here. And you get a communal collaborative document around the questions that you're focusing to gather this level of voice, which is useful. It's also nice because you can eventually turn your using history up here, which is, it says all changes saved in Drive. You can go back and turn these initial thoughts into the very document that you have your SIP plan written in. Because every change is saved in Google. No matter how minute, everything you do is saved. You have all of your initial feedback in the very same document. Then went ahead and wrote your linkages chart in. So we're like, well, why did we say we were going to do that? Let me go find that feedback. You can actually start the design process of coming up with your goals in the very same document that you wrote, that you are writing your linkages chart in. So that you can always find everything as the process moves through. Questions or thoughts, throw them in the chat. If you don't, go ahead and give me an emoticon or a smiley face of some sort. Another way to collect feedback and data is to do so collecting it through a form. Now, most of us have done an MCPS form or created a form before. Go ahead and throw in the chat if you've done one, just say I've done one. If you've created one, throw it in the chat as well. I'm going to go to my Drive and show you how to make one. Michelle, I'm sure you've done that a lot. To collect feedback. A variety of folks. And it's also a nice way, you guys mentioned that you wanted to collect feedback from students. And so this is a nice way to do that. You can new form by going New, More, and Google Forms. We do a lot of work on Google Forms in Appy Hour. We touch on them all the time. So we have Appy Hour where we go through the entirety of Google Forms for data. But what I want to highlight for you today is that when you collect data using forms, so if your multiple choice questions, your checkboxes, your linear scales, you know, whatever you do, there is a new or upgraded response feature. And what's cool about the response feature is it allows you to see data not only in an aggregate, but you to see it for individuals as well. I'll pull up one of my forms that shows data to give you kind of a sense of what this also happens to be Appy Hour follow-up form. Here's the form that when this course edit pops up and I say please take it. And when you click on responses, here is the first question. You actually get view data for your multiple choice and your select all. So you can see how many people, in my form, I want to know how many people are viewing Appy Hour. You can see a breakdown of topics. You can see satisfaction with the training level, and also feedback that people give about the presentation and how we can do a better job. This is really handy for collecting feedback on your SIP plan. Done with great effect also to ask students what they like, what they're doing, what student engagement. It's been used very nicely. Because the form not only shows you the aggregate, they also have the new ability to show you the details for individuals. So you can collect who said what about what was going on as well as the summary if you choose to. It's also know that you can turn off responses if you don't want them anymore. Also handy to know. form is a feedback form. Like maybe you create one to collect feedback on a specific topic, but, excuse me, maybe you just want feedback. Like I love when I go into schools and I see those like boards on how are we doing, the PTA puts up, and you can like write down your comment and put it up on the board, right? Well, you have a feedback that's collecting, hey, do you have a problem? Or hey, do you have an idea? Or hey, do you want to volunteer? Or whatever it is. You can also use this little ... here to get notifications for new responses. So that means a form that really gets used, you don't have to go and look at it and say, oh, okay, I got a response. You can automatically have that emailed to you. So you never have to come look at your form, because forms allow data to go into handy spreadsheets. It's much more organized than just collecting emails with parent feedback. You could do all your feedback via the form. If you throw them in the chat, if not, I'm going to jump you over to view responses and sheets. Now, let's collect their data and forms, unless not to, put this data into a handy-dandy form. The handy-dandy things I like about this form, about Google, is that it often asks you for different types of feedback, right? It does all that kind of good stuff. And there, it has this little thing that says explore. If you click on it, and it makes sense to Google, actually give charts and graphs for all of your different pieces of data here. And a chart or graph, you can drag it over and have a handy McDandy here, feedback right here on your sheet. It helps you give to your community. It helps you collaborate with others by collecting what's going on. It does so in an efficient manner. When collected your data, it also does through Explore, shows you different visual ways to view this data. So in your work, and not spend a ton of time worrying about how to make pretty pie charts. Oh, I'm glad that you stated too. I find this so much fun. And what's even funner, we did on our data and feedback presentation, we did a lot on this. But I also note that in addition to being able to view the data here and see what's going on, you can also, let me go here, you also embed this data into a slides presentation. So find new slides. Slides is Google's version of PowerPoint. You can insert charts from sheets. So I was just working on my Appy Hour follow-up. I'm going to press select. As my chart, import. Now the staff development specialists say back on feedback, they are right on. It might take you to go to the feedback form, figure it out, make sure you get it in the presentation. Well, this beautiful document now updates directly to your form. So if you said we're going to review these 3 pieces of data, and we're going to do so by collecting it in a sheet or form and see how that data moves, well, all you have to do is look at your slide presentation and see the data. And because you see up here, a sheet, whenever you change the data in sheets, it changes here. You can also unlink it, so if you want just February, just March, just like you can do that as well. You can unlink, but it's as simple as going insert chart from. If you have any questions, do that again. Go ahead and throw them in the chat. If not, you can give me a smiley face. About sheets is I can copy that to the top, make sure to share it with all my participants, and everybody in the room can be looking at the document at the same time with me. other pieces that when I ask you kind of tricky parts is remembering to actually, to actually do what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to remember these icons and these moments and those different pieces, right? And I'm actually going to switch. This is one things we do in Appy. We feature Google Apps for EDU, but we are platform agnostic. If something works well for us, then we use it. We don't care what it uses. And I could show you this in Gmail, but the vast majority of feedback we get from administrators and leaders is we mostly still use our Outlook to sending messages in mail. So I'll show you the trick I use in I'm going to screen, and I'm going to share my Outlook with you. Image slow. There we go. Application Outlook. This is a trick I picked up from just thinking of it this way. Not that we didn't. We put things together. The trick is a way to help SIP goals. That is delay send. If you ever use delay send, you can give me a yay in the chat. If you haven't, here's what you do. You create a new mail message. Maybe in your meeting, and you say, you know what I want to do? I want to collect feedback from user group in December. So write a little message to yourself. Carrie. Hello, Carrie. Message here. And you want to say collect feedback. You can already have the message written up. Hi, staff. Do this form. You don't want to collect feedback just in December. Once a month, you want your staff to fill out a form. So you come up with your nice message. You paste a link to that chat. You say thank you. Rather than having to remember to send this message every once on the first of the month, you come up and you go to options, delivery. Say, do not deliver before and pick your date. If you're doing this once a month on the first of the month, now you have your message. And what it do? This sends a message into yourself. I'm going to get this message in 2 months and be like, well, and you know what? I'll smile and be like, oh, Appy hour in the summer, yay. But you can go in and you already have the message written. It's ready to get sent. It takes you 10 minutes now. Much longer than sending out the first message in the first. And it reminds everybody, the staff or yourself, to complete a task. It's putting it on your calendars. Most schools don't use calendars necessarily in the vein. Instead, you've already taken care of the work by doing it in the summer. So delay send allows you to collect feedback if you choose to do so without having to remember to collect feedback. Creating a new message, coming up to delay delivery, and then selecting my delivery option. Do deliver before, and then sending it out. Just delay delivery, like let's say you write a message at 11 o'clock at night, delay delivery and send it at 6:30. No one will know if you're doing work at 2:30 in the morning if you delay delivery until 6:30, right? Go ahead and throw them in the chat if you don't. Okay. Great. Last but not least, I'll give you one more that kind of goes in the idea of one of the feedback points people said that are tricky, is making sure you monitor what you're going to do. And this one really just comes into when you're talking with and working with sheets. It's better than most of us don't use Excel all that often. I mean, I don't want to speak to everybody in the world. I use it, like Excel isn't my favorite. Excel is not my favorite suite. But Sheets and Google Sheets is a place in my heart. I'm going to share my screen and invite all of you, if you wish to join me in the spreadsheet. Now, as I watched over time with SIP plans, what it was to write everything you were going to do at the beginning of the year to really treating it as an action item process that developed over time. That include, you know, knowing what people are doing at what time. It becomes almost more of a challenge in that direction. From the sheet looking at you right now, you might have name, action item, date. Well, all of this can be done in a Google Doc, and that's totally fine. Sheets gives you the ability to sort, to section, to color code, to do all of these things a little bit more efficiently. Anybody who joins me at this document, and with me, to write your name in any one of these items, Carrie, your item, and a completed by. Running tally of everything that's moving on. In fact, I didn't even put a column here for LP goal. Folks can, and you can fill out this chart collaboratively. Before you leave your meeting, you tell everyone, you know what your name is, make sure you put it in the document and if it's completed or not. Each of these different rows, you can use the sort feature. You can create a new filter, or you can just turn on your filters. And now you can come in and say, I only want to look at those action items that work with this value, or I want to see SIP goals that work with this value, or I only want to see those things that Carrie's been doing. And you can filter your data this way. You can keep a running list. And then there are, and this is kind of a top for another day, but using your add-ons like AutoWrap, you can use this ability to export the data to other documents to work with it as well. Plus, you can feature how many items do you have. You can have a little count of how many times have we touched in. It's not a bad idea to have September, October, November, and check off when things get completed. So, you know what? You love it if you give it a chance. If you have any questions, throw that. If not, give me a smiley face. For joining with us today. Anything you got here about how to give voice to your audiences, how to collaborate with others, how to collect and use that data, you can get more help from your instructional technology specialist. Every school has 2 of them, and sometimes more, and we're glad to help with anything that you see with us today. Also, we have bi-weekly Appy hours starting up in the school year. If you have topic ideas or suggestions, you can feel free to let us know. All of our Appy hours are recorded for you. I'm in the chat right now. Oh, I should write the word form, help. Very quickly, I did over how to make forms today. This document is super helpful for getting yourself ready. If you create forms, I threw that doc in for you. And this link is also super helpful because we have some good forms Appy hours that you can view and watch. You can also follow us on Twitter. This is the very end of our hashtag PD and PJs. Tweeting all summer about cool ideas that you can do stuff ready for the school year. I know Paula, you've been right there with us. Your numbers have gone from a 3 to a 5. You're there, and you want to do that for other folks. So please follow us on there. And if you do something really awesome, or tweet back to us. We love to hear your success stories and share them with others. Using cool apps with Rockstar Instruction and Rockstar Administration for all of you guys out there, instructional leaders in Montgomery County Public Schools. If you do something awesome, share it with us. Thank you. Have a great day.